What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Turn the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at WillPod11 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Will Parkinson F on YouTube, the whole 9 yards. All 32 podcasts with Mike Giardi, shameless plug, will be out this week. It's finally here. Veterans reporting to training camp. We can start to talk about a little bit of football. Guys are going to put pads on. We're done with shorts and t-shirt season. We have helmets during practice. Exciting stuff. Actual real football. Obviously, with Jets veterans reporting today, we're gonna hop on regardless. The kind of breaking news, quote unquote, which when me and Ross Tucker, our esteemed guest, will get into right now. Haason Reddick is holding out of Jets camp, something that's a little bit more rare these days. Just a lot of guys have been holding in because of the new CBA. Ross, Haason Reddick's saying kind of F the CBA. I'm going to take these $50,000 fines until you guys fix my contract. A, how we doing? And B, are you surprised we're here with the Reddick situation?
Yeah, so Will, doing awesome. Always great to visit with you, man. You're doing an unbelievable job. And I say it all the time. Jets have a top 5 fan base. The passion that you got, and I know it because anytime I say anything bad about the Jets or anything people don't like about the Jets, they kill me. And what's so funny about it is I really like Saleh and Joe Douglas personally a lot. But when I see a team do something I think is stupid or not right, like I say it, no matter what team it is, right? Great to see you. I'm not surprised at all that Haason Reddick isn't showing up for training camp to start. Here's the thing I said like since day one, right? If he was going to play for $14 million this year, the Eagles wouldn't have traded him. He's from Philadelphia. He grew up an Eagles fan. They have a very talented roster and good team. He would have just stayed there if he was okay with letting the year run out and then being a free agent. He was way underpaid last year and the year before it. He knows it. He signed a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Eagles, $15 million a year. You know, the first year it's like, okay, yeah, maybe a little bit less, but he took a little bit less to play for the Eagles. Well, then these guys started getting 26, 27, 28 million. You know, Bosa's what, 32 million. Watt's up there. The guy's not playing well for 50 cents on the dollar. If he was on the free market, he's a $28 million a year player. He's not playing for 50 cents on the dollar, right? I think the only thing I'm a little bit surprised about, I guess, if anything, well, first of all, I never understood why the Jets didn't do a deal with him right when they traded for him. I assumed that they had some understanding on an extension or an adjustment or whatever. I've seen people report or say that the Jets did think they had an understanding. They did think that there was some type of agreement that I guess that he was happy to play this year, or that they would just give him, I don't know. Maybe you know more about that than I do. I will say this. Maybe my biggest surprise, Will, is that he's holding out rather than holding in. I don't really understand why any guy would do that now. Because no matter what money, look, he's going to play in every game for the Jets this year, right? So if you're the type of person that doesn't really care about the business side of these things or like contracts or whatever, then don't give a crap. He's going to play in every game for the Jets this year. Saleh's on the hot seat. Joe Douglas is on the hot seat. They need to win this year. That's why they traded for him. He's an awesome football player. He's going to have double-digit sacks for the Jets this year. He's going to play in every game. Everything else is just details, which is when do they adjust the contract to the point where he's willing to come in. And the Jets, by the way, have a long history of basically caving in these situations, right? Like Revis, even Ryan Fitzpatrick on some level. Like he's going to get more money this year. It's just a matter, will he play for 20? Does it have to be 24? You know, I don't know what the number, I don't know what they'll resolve it at. But I just still don't understand. Well, like for me, I would go like, why would you give back $50,000 a day? Like why would you give them?
That's the one thing I don't understand.
Yeah, because they can't, under the new CBA, they cannot forgive that fine. So I think the guys look at it like, well, maybe they'll give me extra to do. No. Whatever they're going to give you is what they were going to give you, period. They don't get a credit for the fine money. Yeah. Right. So anyway, I just talked for a while. But you got me. I laid it all out there, man.
Yeah,
Go for it.
no, look, there's a couple of things here. I think you made a couple of points that I fully agree with. I think whatever conversations, kind of quote unquote dirty little secret, and you know this better than anybody, obviously, when guys get traded in the NFL and they were looking for a new deal, it's very rare that you get traded somewhere where you don't have at least the parameters of what a deal might look like. It's usually what happens. It's very rare, I think, in the NFL, from everything I've known my whole life and everything I've kind of heard, is that, you know, this is usually what happens, right? You're about to get traded. Hey, I want a new deal. Brandon Ayuk's going to have the parameters of a new deal if he gets traded at some point. Wherever he would get traded, if he does, I guarantee if the Patriots give him a first round, whatever, I'm just using them as an example, they're damn sure going to know what
They're
Brandon
not
Ayuk
trading
wants.
for him without having some idea of what the new contract's going to be.
Exactly. And even if the Jets said, hey, this is, you know, we had some conversations. Brian Costello reported about 2 or 3 minutes ago, right before we hopped on, the Jets had offered an extension to Reddick, essentially. And clearly the extension was not, just because you offer it doesn't mean they have to accept an extension. They could have offered him a dog shit deal. We don't know the details of what they offered him. I've used the Danielle Hunter contract over and over again as same age player, same position, very similar production. Hunter got 2 years, 48.5 to 49 million. And then guys have gotten paid after Hunter now, and who's, you know, a really damn good player. I think Reddick is probably regarded as a slightly better player than Hunter, or if not comparable. So I was like, okay, that's an easy thing. The Jets will get that done. That obviously has not happened. And could that still happen? Maybe, maybe not. With the Jets want to, you know, Woody Johnson, the Jets want to shell out more cash this year, you know, for a defensive guy. Who knows? We'll see. That's not always been their thing. He probably wants to see some wins first. That's all fair. What I don't understand is this has been a thing. He held out of OTAs. He held out of minicamp. He got traded on April 1st. I don't know where the Haason Reddick, not only is he the 18th or 20th highest paid on, depending on what website you use, you know, edge rusher, he has no guaranteed money. $0 are guaranteed, quite literally zero. And not for nothing, going to play in that MetLife turf. And he's a guy who's 29 years old. He probably wants some type of guarantees in his contract. And I don't fucking blame him. I don't blame the Jets for saying, hey, we'd love to get you to play on $14.5 million a year. That's what a good organization is going to do. Hey, we want you to play on a cheaper money deal for us because we want to go trade for Devontae Adams and do all this stuff in the middle of the year. Again, that's all fair. Both sides have a reason to feel the way they want to feel. I think this will get done, and it's not going to be a big deal. As you mentioned, he's one of the most durable players in the NFL, productive, all these different things. It won't be a big deal. He'll be suited up week one. I also just think this could have been very similar to the Rodgers Egypt situation, very similar to other things where the Jets are very media conscious, very PR and narrative driven in terms of, hey, we want to control this stuff. That's great. But these are two situations where I feel like get out ahead of, hey, man, we're going to give you half this is going to be fully guaranteed this year. And we're going to give you up to $10 million in bonuses you can earn by getting 10 sacks. And we make the playoffs and all these different things. It doesn't affect the cap as much. And we're going to give you extra cash. So you feel like we're taking care of you. And it's also good faith down the line if they do want to extend him. Because right now it's like they have no relationship. He's never played for the Jets. And the Jets, he is like, what is he? You know, there's not really the same thing here where it's a guy already on the roster, right? So I don't know.
And this is the thing, Will, about the Jets that I feel like has been going on forever. And it's got to be maddening for you guys. The Aaron Rodgers situation was totally their own doing.